Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Drop-In Morning Show with the Teach Better team, where we are live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. It is Friday, January 21st. Brad and I are here to recap the week, continue conversation on our theme, give you some good news and holidays, and then whatever else seems to come up, friends. We are here for it. Please feel free to go fill up your coffee, get ready for the day, maybe, be thinking about what you might have going on today, just in case you need to brainstorm something with us. And then Brad and I will be back here in just a minute to get started. So cheers, friends. We'll be right back. Morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Brad,
good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Ray. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Another wonderful edition of the Friday Daily Drop-In. I'm excited to be here with you. How are you doing? How was your week?
My week was good. It was a busy week, though. I don't know if anybody watching feels like they just haven't seen a weekend in 3 weeks, but that is how I'm feeling.
Busy week over here too. Exactly. It's been. I mean, it's so proud of our students and staff here in Ontario. Back to school in person for tens of thousands of students, and our staff and students just rocked it. And I will say how restorative it was for me and for all of our staff to be in the presence of our dear kids again. So I'm so proud of educators here in our region, and I also know how proud all school leaders and all colleagues are of everything that we're trying to pull off here in a pandemic.
Well, and truly, I mean, I got this feedback from a lot of educators as they are, kind of like reaching the end of their week, reflecting on their week. Maybe they have plans this weekend to refuel. I hope you guys should all be refueling this weekend. But honestly, I keep joking with people. I'm like, I feel like I just missed a weekend. Like I just feel like it's been 2 weeks. No big deal. I must have had a busy weekend or something, but that wasn't the case. It's just Friday, friends. Just Friday. So we're going to persevere through the day, and then we're going to enter into a weekend. And I wish you all lots of sleep. That's
Sure.
really my hope for everyone as we are getting started this morning.
Hey, Ray, how have you been expending your energy this week? Has it been related to Teach Better teamwork, outreach, professional learning? Has it been personal, like time with family, friends, special activities? What's been going on for you?
No, it's been a beautiful blending of a lot of educator support. That's really been from the beginning. I'm sure everybody's had these moments where you look at your calendar and you are just on and busy the whole day. And I tell you, teachers have stamina. We are strong breed, and doing that for one day, we can come out on top and get ready to kill it the next morning. But a lot of educators I see, when you have that type of schedule where for example, I have daily drop-in bright and early in the morning. Last night I was live with Katie Miglin at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's just a full day with no breaks, and I'm on day 4 of that. So I'm ready for a weekend. I'm ready for a little bit of sleep. That's kind of what my goal is. So it's good.
Yeah, you've been on my mind, and other Teach Better team members have been on my mind as I take a look. I've got an inside look at the Teach Better team calendar, and it's packed from like 7 a.m. to sometimes 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then you just do it all again. So lots and lots of goodness and lots of energy expended there.
Well, and we do stuff like this all the time in terms of education, but sometimes those weeks just sneak up on you. Even if it's just a little bit busier than normal, sometimes you can really feel that extra hour, that extra 2 hours that get added to your plate. To be honest, we've been doing a ton of work with districts this week as well. I know the team has been so active in working either virtually or in person with certain school districts. I was able to hang out with a school district very close to home over here for a period of time. And it's always fun to be able to talk shop and brainstorm with educators. Reminder, doing any sort of brainstorming right now, doing any sort of like innovative practices right now does take a lot of energy. So give yourself a little grace. It's okay to be tired at the end of the week. We'll persevere through. We'll get an extra nap in this weekend, and we'll be good to go Monday morning.
You're talking my language there, Ray. It's all about energy management and awareness of the energy demands on all of us as our communities continue to survive a pandemic. There are both, stresses that we know and stresses that we actually haven't identified that have to be reckoned with when we think about the energy we're expending in our workplaces and our home lives too.
I do want to give a little shout out if I can, Brad, because you did ask me about what I was busy with. On Monday, I recorded a full course with Amanda on our team. For those of you who follow Amanda, she's an incredible elementary educator in Ohio that's a part of our team. She's doing her first course with the team that I don't even think that's like public yet, so I don't think I can tell you the topic, but I will tell you it's going to be so good. I'm so excited for y'all to see it. And that was like 4.5 hours of recording and course management, everything else. We are doing the same thing again. This will be Andrea's first course she's recording later this afternoon. And no, I can't tell you the topic. Yes, these courses will be out soon in our academy. But like shout out to new like Teach Better members recording a new course in the academy. Like I'm so excited for them.
Value added at every step, and rumor has it, Ray, and I know that you're okay digging into a few rumors here. Rumor has it that yours truly may be up for some new course recording in the future too. So I'm excited to hear about those contributions, and I'm also eager to contribute myself, learning from the best of the best.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun. I do love that about the academy is that of all areas, while we do respond to our audience and we do ensure that the topics are as relevant of what all of you want to hear, we do like project at least 4 to 5 months out just so we know that we can get the production, that we need to get. And so, yeah, Brett, I'm so excited for your course. We're going to spoil it. We're not going to say what the topic is, but it's cool to be able to see educators being able to truly share their insight beyond just like a daily drop-in, but through a multiple modules within the academy. So
and what I'll say, Ray, is the insight only goes so far. It's what's really electric about it is when the insight meets the person viewing or consuming or reviewing the material to go, oh, that just sparked something in me. So that's what's incredibly energizing and keeps me so hopeful. It's the insight, but where the insight meets the educator receiving the insight that sparks something new. So it's like the ripple effect. You toss that pebble in the pond, you never know where that ripple may go. And for me to imagine that something that I with the team create could impact kids all over the place, it's really, really cool.
Well, Brad, I know that we're completely off topic, but it sounds like as you get started with your planning, which again, no spoilers on what you're planning or when that's coming out, but we have had some team members recently who have really been able to take ownership in creating really, really cool experiences in our academy. Dr. Dave has new courses out. He just had a course release this week. Amanda had her first experience. Andrea will have her first experience. Katie Miglin had her first experience. So you have a lot of people to kind of go to and say, psst, how'd this go? Give me all your insight.
Ray, I just need to know which member of the team can give me the best hair and makeup tips because I have to book that early. Good hair and makeup associates are in high demand. So I just want to make sure that I, both sound and look my best. So if you've got anyone who can hook me up, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I do have to say, Brad, I mean, me and my massive production team right behind the camera, I mean, we're happy to help, but
brilliant.
It's great fashion as Andrea. I have a feeling, see, she's even here. I think Andrea's going to bring her A game today. I bet she'd be willing to share her hair and makeup stylist, the director of the production, all that stuff. So maybe she'll write those notes for you.
Oh, that's perfect. And I think a hiring spree for Teach Better production assistants is maybe on our spring docket, Ray.
I love it. I love it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for dealing with our shenanigans on this Friday. Brad, tell me a little bit more about your teachers heading back to school because they have been remote learning with their students for the last few weeks, really since winter break, from what I imagine. And then they are now back with students. That first week back with students, I know is exhausting, but it's filled with great excitement and lots of problem solving. I'm sure everybody persevered with huge success, but can you give me one peek and one pit from the week just to kind of identify maybe future goals for your buildings?
Yeah, of course. One peak was us as a community being able to set the agenda and set the tone from the outset. And our reminders were there were 3 reminders. The first was deep breaths. The second was kind thoughts. And the third was loving self-talk. And that was a constant theme that we played up in our staff meetings, our communication on our staff whiteboard. And that allowed us to set the tone so that we could provide the same care, the same patience that our students who were necessarily excited, ramped up, eager, fearful, conflicted, neutral. We have to be able to prepare ourselves as adults, as carers, to meet the kids exactly where they are. And it's what was, the risk is there's a lot of negative anticipation associated at any time, teaching, learning, living in a pandemic. So helping to manage those fears, worries, and anxieties as a school leader, from my perspective, with clear and timely information, with a commitment to keep people informed if we didn't know the answer, and also empowering our educators to make the best decisions in the moment with the information they have and the hearts that they have beating within them. And no one will fault an educator for making a heart-led, loving decision. Even when information is limited, they'll always have my back as a school leader. So I think our educators found too the week, as I mentioned before, to be truly restorative, to be in the presence of kids, because that's where we get our energy. That's our lifeline. That's our heartbeat. But an educator and I were talking in the staff room yesterday about just how tiring it is and has been. And I wondered, there's, as we know, as we approach a September, say a back to school, there's a lot of energy expended, a lot of positive anticipation, a lot of breaths being held. And depending on what district you teach in, that cycle has been repeated multiple times in a school year. It's like we've had a do-over and a do-over. And so we've had like 2 or 3 first days of school with extended time between them. And so we have to remember that we continue to expend that amount of energy. It's no wonder we feel tired. It's no wonder we kind of, I call it discombobulated. We don't really have our footing, don't have our bearings. And so recognize and honor the journey that we've been on, and recognize and honor that it's a year and experience unlike no other, and it will take its toll, Ray.
I really appreciate that reminder. I know sometimes I think early on in an experience, we get those reminders frequently, but then as it goes further and further and further, we often forget those moments. We forget those reminders, that grace we should be providing. I know that was a buzzword for so long, but don't you remember at the beginning of all of this experience years and years ago that there was like those photos of like second first day of school or fifth first day of school when you were counseling virtual? So that hasn't stopped. And I think, it's a great reminder that we are all still experiencing those types of beginnings. So I appreciate
100%.
That. Yeah, that's so good. I know that we have a lot to do this morning. I'd love to get into some good news stories, some holidays, kind of all that jazz. What do you think?
I would love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Morning, everyone. Let's get started with some holidays, some good news stories. Brad, I was telling you before we came live, there are some strange holidays today that I don't quite know that everyone will be choosing to celebrate. But I mean, for the few people out there that are very, very excited, I think we should highlight them.
I think so too. I think truly we do provide a public service to let people make their own minds up about what fake holidays or what special holidays we're going to celebrate today. I'm looking forward to. I'm intrigued. You've got my curiosity piqued, Ray.
Well, I'm thrilled to have your full attention, Brad, as we celebrate that it is World Squirrel Appreciation Day. How exciting!
Oh, that hits just right, because I feel that's exactly where my squirrel. That's where that's where my attention is at any given moment. So yes, I celebrate that wholeheartedly.
Yes, happy World Squirrel Appreciation, friends. Thank goodness we made it Friday, January 21st to the Squirrel Day. In addition, which is, kind of an interesting day to celebrate during a global pandemic, it is World Hugging Day. So if you can, in a very, very safe environment, today's the day to hug. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hugging is hard to come by these days in a world where physical distancing is encouraged and enforced. So yeah, get those hugs where you can, seek them out, and don't be shy. Just say, hey, I could really use a hug.
I do have to ask Brad, sometimes people consider themselves a hugger or not a hugger. And in my, friend group, we joke about this all the time. There are very close people that I, really enjoy being social with. And a few of them are very big huggers, and others of them are extremely anti-hugger. So tell me a little bit, where do you fall on that spectrum?
I am absolutely a hugger. I'm pro hug. I always make sure that anyone I'm approaching for a hug is okay with that. But yeah, um, physical affection, that is something that I crave, and I love to hug and I love to receive hugs. And yep, I'm a hugger.
I'm interested. We have some friends in the comments that I know a lot more people are watching that may not be commenting, but specifically with our friends in the comments, Brianne Fennel has commented a few times. Good morning, Bree. I think Bree's a hugger. She comes across as somebody who could give a really, really good hug.
If that's the case, I would welcome the opportunity to give and receive a hug to Bree when we finally meet in person,
Yeah.
hopefully sometime in 2022.
Absolutely. I would love to hear from people this morning as we, slowly get started. Sometimes commenting, gets our brain flowing. We're going to set up a successful day ahead. If you guys are willing to participate a little bit in the comments, I'd love to see a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if you consider yourself a hugger, or maybe you pass on that opportunity. I think that would be really good to get a pulse on our network as we get started. Moving beyond that, Brad, it is International Sweatpant Day.
Fantastic.
Right?
That's incredible. So, Ray, just to be clear, does that mean that it's encouraged for us to wear sweatpants that are perhaps from a variety of different nations? International Sweatpants Day?
I think it must be. It doesn't mean to throw on your sweatpants and go to work. We're not necessarily condoning that behavior, although I do wish you a happy sweatpant day. But if you have like international flags on your sweatpants or something like that, I say today's your day.
Fantastic. Comfy and cozy is absolutely the order of the day, especially as you head into a weekend. Wrapping yourself in soft, supple, warm, loving textiles that just make you feel good. And maybe there'll be a cup of hot cocoa with those sweatpants, or a good book, or in my case, a good crossword puzzle to keep you company.
Oh my gosh, you are painting quite a picture here, Brad Hughes. I do want to give a shout out to Lori. Lorianne in the on Facebook. She listens all the time. She's so active in the show. Lori, I am dying to meet you someday. I love that you're such an active participant in Daily Drop-In. It actually feels weird anytime we have Daily Drop-In and I don't see your name pop up very early on in the show in the comments. So let's see, let's pretend you're hugging me. That way you can authentically answer the question. I don't know if you'd be willing to give me a hug or not, but I will tell you, Lori, someday when we meet, that will be a decision we'll have to make together, and we'll need to decide.
Ray, I'm sorry. I'm really proud of Lorianne. When it comes to National Hug Day, commenting and reaching out, she's really embracing the opportunity to celebrate today with us. It's an opportunity that she's really wrapped her arms around, and I'm excited that she's here too.
Brad Hughes, you have a skill, sir. This is why I love Fridays. You have no idea. It's the best. She says, you guys help me get my mind right before the kids come in. I love that, Lori.
That's outstanding. I love hearing that we're providing that value to you, Lori. That's wonderful.
So good. Okay, Brad, here's the next one. It is National Cheesy Socks Day, meaning like those socks that have, like funny images all over them,
okay.
Patterns, all that stuff. Not cheesy, like cheese in your socks. No. Like graphic socks is what it's talking about.
Ray, where I went was a sock that's been on for so many days that okay. I'll just leave it right there. Yeah, people are still enjoying their breakfast, but that's where I went right there. So socks that have graphic. I mean, Alex Valencic in our Teach Better family would be excited to hear about this opportunity. He would absolutely put his best foot forward when it comes to Cheesy Sock Day today, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to feel like a heel here, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Alex has in mind.
I'm so disappointed in you, Brad, that you thought that I was talking about cheese. Like, terrible. Like, Brad, where is your head this morning? We were talking about graphic socks. I want to know what kind of socks all of you are wearing. Right now, I have fuzzy socks on. I don't think it needs to have like an image on it, I think, to be considered. Yeah. To continue forward, and I know that we're going to move on to our good news story. It's also National Granola Bar Day. It's National Celebrate Your Home Day. It's National Playdate Day. And last but not least, Brad Hughes, maybe your favorite holiday of all time. It is One-Liners Day.
Oh my word. I can't even. This is a day meant for me, Ray, from squirrels to hugs to graphic socks to one-liners. That is a whole lot of goodness wrapped into one Friday, my friend.
I know. I told you it was, full of holidays that I will tell you some people will choose to celebrate in abundance and others will shake their head and walk away.
I agree with Andrea. It really does feel like Brad Day, and I feel celebrated. I feel seen. I feel encouraged. I'm ready to hit my Friday running.
Brad, remind me, when was your birthday? Because we celebrated on a show a few months ago. When was your birthday?
We did, and it was December the 3rd. It was Friday the 3rd,
Yeah.
2021. Rumor has it it's coming around again in less than a year, so we'll have to,
Oh.
we've got lots of time to plan.
Well, the reason I asked, Brad, is because, now we're into late January. This is the universe saying, like, every 6 weeks, we're going to have a Brad Day in some regard, whether it's your birthday or a special day to celebrate on, daily drop-in. So let's see 6 weeks from now. Let's see if, like, we have another Brad-like day. Maybe this is just a pattern for you.
I am a pretty blessed individual to spend so much time with people that have my back and keep me buoyed and supported and uplifted. So every day pretty much feels like a Brad day. So I'm grateful for that. But 6 weeks, we'll put it on the calendar and see what the universe holds for us.
I like it. As we get started with all the shenanigans this morning, I'd love to get into some good news. Brad, I know you have some options for us, which means those of you that are watching as you're just popping in, waking up this morning, make sure you put your cursor or click on the comments because we will need your opinions on this good news story. Brad, what are our options?
Ray, I've got two options for your listening and learning pleasure. One option is called mysterious purple coating. Mysterious purple coating. And the other is a drop in the bucket.
Ooh.
A drop in the bucket. So if our listeners and viewers want to comment either, I'm going to say purple or drop or purple or bucket or one or two, I'm just curious which would light their fires this morning. Mysterious purple coating or drop in the bucket?
I do have to say, I love purple. It's a great color, so that's exciting. Drop in the bucket really, really sounds engaging. I'm excited to see what people think, but I do want to know, I'm not wearing a black shirt right now, so I'm all about the color this morning. I don't know if you see, this is like a gold,
Right.
yellowy. So I think color's winning. It looks like people want to hear the purple.
We'll go with purple. And this story comes to us from the planet Mars, which we know as the red planet, Ray. But goodnewsnetwork.org is reporting a mysterious purple coating has been found on Mars rocks in every direction based on data gathered from the Perseverance rover, Ray. Could Mars be the purple planet we never knew we needed?
I mean, I am all about a purple planet. Absolutely.
One of my favorite words in this article, it's not quixotic, it's ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. So goodnewsnetwork.org reports that the Perseverance rover on Mars is trying to explain the ubiquitous coatings of unknown dark gray, almost purple material on Martian rocks. Wherever the rover has trundled, more details on this coating's composition could come with clues about Mars's past, including whether it hosted microbial life. Now, these coatings on Earth are called varnishes. They tend to be excellent places to find unusual microbes. And so the nooks and crannies of the surface of a stone are havens if you're a microbe. I don't know many microbes personally, but rumor has it they love these nooks and crannies. They offer moisture and shelter to microbes. And if it can be borne out, maybe we'll discover that those same microbes once existed on Mars, and that could explain the purple coating, Ray.
That is so neat. Anytime we have a new fun word, I always like to challenge us to define it and use it during the day. So, Brad, would you be able to define that word so that we can challenge our viewers to go participate specifically in using that word at least one time during their day? Like to sneak it into conversation today.
Of course, and that word is ubiquitous, and I love word etymology, word origins. Ubi is Latin for everywhere, and so ubiquitous defined is found everywhere. Everywhere you turn, these purple coating is ubiquitous to the Mars rover. No matter which direction it ventures, it's going to find the purple coating ubiquitous.
Can you use it in a sentence? Outside of the example you gave us, like how could I use it in school today? Because there's a lot of things everywhere in buildings.
Well, Ray, you can carry that wherever you are, because we could say Ray's awesomeness is ubiquitous. When I go into my building today, I could say the laughter and delight and restorative nature of children is ubiquitous. And also in my presence, eye rolling is also ubiquitous whenever I'm around. So wherever you look, something is there. It's ubiquitous.
I love it, friends. Let's challenge ourselves to use that word today. We'll be right back for Brainstorm Bank. Good morning, everyone. Brad and I are so excited to be here with you for Daily Drop-In. For those of you who are just popping in, we are so appreciative that you're here. Even if you've started the show with us, shout out to you being a rock star. I know Holly is using our vocab word already to discuss the green hearts, the love for Teach Better, not only Teach Better as a whole, but Teach Better 12-Hour Lives specifically. If you did not catch it, the Teach Better Next 12-Hour Live, where the team is live for 12 hours straight, no breaks. We have new segments and new guests on every hour to half an hour for 12 hours, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And that is happening on February 26th. There will be an abundance of giveaways and hot topics discussed. And we are so excited to celebrate that with you. You know, Brad, it is Friday, so we get to recap the week in a little bit here. But first, for Brainstorm Bank, we love to give a shout out to our community. Ask friends if you need anything, if we can brainstorm with you, any dilemmas or hurdles you might have in front of you, and also dive into the theme this week. Just to, Brad, I'd love you to get your thoughts on everything that we were discussing this week. The main theme that came up numerous times in a multitude of perspectives was the concept of involving students in the process, of involving students in the design. What were your thoughts this week on that?
Let's face it, Ray, anywhere we can look forward to coming into a space where our opinions, our experiences, our beliefs are going to be honored and included, that's a place I'm going to look forward to going. And it's the same for our kids. We always want to give kids at least one reason to look forward to coming to school, and as many reasons as possible to feel glad that they came. So when we welcome kids into our spaces, whether they're physical spaces or whether they are virtual online spaces, giving them a voice and not only giving them a voice, but reflecting back to them that they've been heard and that their voice is going to be incorporated into next steps about the learning is what it's all about. I loved our week focusing on student voice.
Yeah, it was a really great opportunity to look at a multitude of perspectives for this topic, but I do know that every educator is going to be able to see this in a different way on how it relates to them and where they feel like they have easy flexibility to get student voice involved in the process, and whether it be lesson planning, physical space, or anything in between. Did you have one specific area that you felt drawn to as we talk about, incorporating student voice in the process?
Ray, for me, it was just the theme that kept running through like a thread was knowing your students. And we often say that, relationships are the foundation of everything good that we can accomplish with kids and in our lives. The better we know our kids, that is the first way to engage their voice, is to allow them that relationship, time, and opportunity to be heard and to be known. And so the first stepping stone could simply be reflecting back what you've learned about them in a conversation, in a lesson, in a little bit of a surprise, referring to a special strength or interest throughout the day. Sometimes you can do that in a private way, and sometimes you can do it in a more public way where others in the classroom space get to know the strengths and the capabilities of kids in their space. So that's the thread for me, Ray, is relationships first, and then looking for opportunities whenever you can to incorporate what you know about your kids to keep them energized, engaged, and feeling seen and heard.
No, I think it's so important. As we were talking about this theme originally, Brad, I know you and I get to plan a little bit ahead to ensure that we are providing, as much diversity as possible on daily drop-in topics. This one I thought was going to be all focused on instructional design. I don't know why that was my mindset, but when you talk about involving students in the process, I went straight to lesson planning. How are we involving our students' voice in lesson planning? How can every student ensure that they see themselves in the lessons that we were providing to students? And how can we foster creativity as students share their voice in their learning experiences? I almost feel like that didn't even come up this week. Like, I was so surprised at the different ways that we can approach involving students. It actually was really insightful for me because I really just wanted to talk about, designing really dynamic lessons. And every single person that we had on this week was able to reflect in a different way on how to involve students actively in this experience. Your your connection to relationships was in abundance in the conversations this week, which I really valued.
When I thought of student voice too, Ray, I was actually thinking of some of our colleagues that are involving students as podcasters, so that their physical voice is being curated and being presented to the world. And what an authentic opportunity if we can have kids not only be consumers, but creators, where their actual voices are being shared out to a world that needs to hear from them, that needs to hear about their priorities and their hopes for the future, because we have to partner with kids to make sure their future is a little bit brighter each day and that they have as many opportunities as they can to have success as they move to adulthood. So that's where I went. I'm excited that the opportunity for student voice was captured with such excitement with each of our guests.
I do love podcasting with students. I used to do that a bunch, and I've seen educators do that a bunch in their classroom. It's great, to be honest. During even during COVID, when students had to be, and they continue to be, very far apart spacing and everything in between, because just like we're doing right now, you can record a podcast and have active conversation without sitting right next to somebody. Brad and I live in completely different cities. The entire Teach Better network exists all across the world, and yet you can podcast and foster conversation and have an active community in so many ways. I think that a podcast is a really fun opportunity to bring into a classroom at any point in time. We used to do it not only in our content classes, but also in an advisory or tutorial sense, that students were going to be able to reflect on their week or share their insight on different topics simply through recording on a phone or a computer. It's a really great opportunity if those of you have not looked into it.
It's also easier than one might think to take that broadcast and make it widely available for authentic feedback. And that, for me, in my experience, can be the hook for both kids and educators, is seeking and then hearing that you've made that difference to someone far, far away that you never would have expected, whether it's a country or whether it's a country away or whether it's a district away, knowing that we're going to come back again, knowing that pebble in the pond has created unexpected ripples is part of the surprise and the excitement of wanting to continue to do it again.
Well, Brad, I would love to actually get into, before we transition into recapping the week, any tips or tricks you have on podcasting. Obviously, I would love to share like the specific resources that worked well for my middle schoolers when we were doing this, but you're a very active podcaster. I know, like, literally everyone I know, I feel like, refers to your podcast, listens to your podcast. It's an awesome format. I'm sure you've learned so much throughout your time kind of getting started with podcasting and then obviously fostering such a successful podcast.
Ray, for me, it has been an incredible learning journey. And it's also been an incredible way for me to, as an educator, to intentionally build a cycle of professional learning, reflection, and connection with guests. In the classroom, it can be as simple as a teacher and a student having a conversation about an important topic. With the student's permission, the conversation can be recorded, and then using any number of apps or podcast platforms, it's really simple with just a click of a click of an icon on your phone or on your computer to upload that audio to a provider like Anchor, which is the one that I use. And these distributors make it very easy for that audio to be available nearly immediately on all of the different podcast providers. There's also really cool opportunities, Ray, for students who are inclined towards the graphic arts, because as you see on our frame here, there's a world of graphic design opportunities for those to support the communication. The graphic design can entice a viewer not only to tune in, but to stay listening. And so there are many ways to contribute to a podcast, not just being interviewed or providing the voice, but providing the look, the graphics, the detail, the user experience. And so there are countless ways to involve kids in that, even if it was something that was just played within the classroom for the delight of the kids that are there. So I encourage it. And I know there are incredible educators in our Teach Better family working to amplify student voice, and we'd love to connect you with them.
Yeah, one way that we used to do it is like in small groups. So we used to have groups of like 5 or 6. And it was essentially that they were running a show. It just didn't have a visual component of, a camera. It was all via their voice. And we had a director for each segment. We had people that were actually sharing their voice, in the recording. We had an editing team that usually consisted of 2 or 3 different students, because you love to be able to get different suggestions and perspectives. I love the graphics person. That person really took on not only the visuals, but some of the audios of the swishes and the swirls and the fun little things that come in as you transition. And then the director obviously kind of oversaw the full thing. I love Anchor. I'm so glad you recommended that. I know there's so many tools out there, friends, but Anchor is so user friendly. I worked with obviously middle school age. I've also seen it done very successfully at the high school and elementary level. Anchor is very easy to edit and record and upload. It's all conducive in one big system, and it does work on both your laptop and phone. So there's a lot of opportunities there, regardless of the device that you have. So, Brad, what a fun little turn. I love that we're able to.
Yeah, I love it too. If I can just throw in 2 shout outs to Teach Better family members, Mark Horner and Jackie Mion, both in our Teach Better family, are podcasting with students, listeners, viewers. If you have an opportunity to check out either Mark or Jackie's podcast, you can get a taste of the possibilities there. And I will say, as far as getting those episodes started, it's just start. I was having a great conversation with our friend Jillian Dubois about published is better than polished. And so you can get bogged down in trying to polish your audio. Just leave it raw, leave it real, leave it authentic, put it out there, get feedback, polish it a little bit further each and every time, but publish over polish. That's my encouragement for educators that want to dip their toe into podcasting.
I love that reminder. That's so important. And I mean, you guys know right now we're live. There's no editing that we do at all. And that is a choice. You see us make mistakes. You see us stumble over our words. And I think in some regard, the feeling of that is going to come across as so authentic and transparent with your students. So I hope that works out. Let us know if you're getting into that, or if you're currently dabbling with that concept. What a fun idea. Brad, are you willing? Do you think we should recap our week a little bit?
I'm ready to recap, and I'm ready for our favorite theme.
It's our favorite part. All right, everybody, take a deep breath in. Let's celebrate our favorite moment of Friday. All right, friends, we are going to recap our week. Brad, this was a busy, busy, busy week. Were you able to catch any of the shows?
I was able to catch each and every show, starting with your dynamic duo host on Monday, the inimitable and ubiquitous Jeff Gargas.
So fun. We always love kicking off the beginning of the week with so many different conversations. This week was a fun one because it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which gave us so much to be able to celebrate. I know that like Jeff was supposed to be on Monday, but for some reason I feel like it was Katie Miglin live with me. Is that possible?
Well, this reveals how closely I was paying attention, Ray, because I do remember and tuned into that episode on Monday with Katie, and I remember sorting out the difficulties that Jeff was having getting on the air live with you. So
yes,
yeah,
okay, because I always just assumed Jeff was live with me because it feels like week to week there's so much time in between. But yeah, if you remember this week, Katie came with us live on Monday because of a snowstorm that Jeff was experiencing.
That's right.
So I only remember this because later that week I was in a meeting with Jeff, and he was making fun of the fact that he actually didn't have any snow at all, and he was just ditching out on the show. But I do promise you all, friends, he did have a lot of snow, and he was stuck trying to support his family getting out for the day. So that was a fun opportunity to be able to talk shop with Katie. I also was live with her yesterday, being able to highlight Dave's new course in the academy. Right. So lots of Katie Miglin time. On Tuesday, we were then joined by another Teach Better family member who was a student sharing his voice on how educators had impacted his life. And that was Dino, who was able to kind of give us a little insight on, how he's been able to grow up and have the influence of educators.
Dino's presentation and conversation with you, again, just infused with student voice from the inside out, reflecting on the impact that educators had made, reflecting on his potential, both as a student and as a content producer. Great conversation.
Alexa Perkins was Wednesday, and
Yes.
friends, I'll always recommend watching the show. I always recommend checking out guests, but I am an Alexa Perkins fan. Alexa had so much insight to share. Her passion was like oozing out of her. And we did drop a spoiler that she will be a part of 12 Hour Live, sharing her insight again with the team on February 26th. So if you are looking for some energy, some passion, Wednesday's your show.
And engaging energy too. I know that you gave her a shout out about just how engaging that energy was, and that's what I think that's what educators and educating spaces need is people that are fearlessly energetic fearlessly willing to go to the wall for their kids. She was incredibly fun and entertaining to listen to.
So good. We obviously then had Carly Spina, our friend and
Yes.
family member. Carly is very active in the Teach Better community. Always fun to be able to highlight not only her voice, but the work that she continues to do. And Carly Spina was a great addition on Thursday's show.
I will say, as far as Pebbles, Ponds, and Ripples, I did see that an MLL multi-language learner teacher from my district here in Ontario had tuned into that broadcast to hear Carly. And so, Carly, so proud of you and the work that you're doing. So proud of your book release. And as always, just so proud of your kindness and the fact that we can stay connected. It's just awesome.
So good. You know, a little transition here that we didn't plan, Brad, is that we were talking about podcasting. We were talking about our conversations this week, just being really authentic. We had a student on that was able to share their voice. We had educators on that were just oozing passion. We were talking about podcasting, really being an authentic space to share. Our theme next week is authenticity, aligning values, beliefs, and actions in the work that we're doing. I think that is going to be a fascinating conversation in our network next week for Daily Drop-In.
I think it will be too. And it's important, I think, for all of us to remember that authenticity is not a pinnacle. It's not a moment of perfection. It's a constant journey to align what we say, do, feel, and believe with the opportunities for action. And so we're not setting anybody up as a pinnacle or as an ideal. We're all in a journey. That's the Teach Better mindset of better a little bit each day. And, it's a lifelong process. If I may, Ray, I've got a new blog out today in the Better News series highlighting author Dennis Matthew. And what's remarkable about Dennis's journey that is explored in our conversation is this journey of becoming. It's this journey towards authenticity. And even now, with all of his accomplishments as an author, a songwriter, an educator, a speaker, a content producer, he still thinks that he's just a guy trying to figure his life out. And this is why I'm excited to have shared out that conversation with Dennis and seeking to keep people on that road to authenticity, knowing that they're going to be bumps along the road. Anyway, that might be a great compliment if people are looking to check out and anticipate our work about a week about authenticity. Check out that blog on the Teach Better website.
That'll be so fun. Don't forget, we publish blogs literally every day, friends. There's always new content there. Same with our podcast network. There's always new episodes. So for those of you who are eager to find your next read or your next listen to, those are great places to begin to locate those resources to best support you. So love that, Brad. I cannot wait to read it. I have not been able to preview it yet, so I can't wait.
Thank you.
For next week, we have obviously Monday, we think, starting with the one and only Jeff Gargas. Hopefully he doesn't get any more snow, so he's able to tune into the show and share his insight on authenticity, which I actually think would be so interesting because Jeff and I have had numerous conversations on the importance of being authentic and transparent with not only our students, but truly our network. So I'm excited to get his insight there. On Tuesday, we have Justin, and I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name. It's Cumgees maybe, but he's joining us. He is not a new face to Teach Better. He was actually at Teach Better Conference 2019. He has an organization that supports teachers in addition to him also being an administrator. So I'm excited to bring him again to our community. He's, been very busy obviously with his work the last few years, but he'll be a familiar face to many of you. On Wednesday, we then have Selena joining us. I have followed Selena on Instagram for so long. She has a great following over there, and I'm so excited to have her share her insight on education and authenticity on Wednesday. And then last but not least, before us coming together on Friday, Brad, on Thursday, we have James Miles joining us, and I am geeking out that he is joining us because he is labeled himself the Fresh Professor. He's got some really dynamic ways that he leads instructional conversations, and I cannot wait for him to foster some dialogue with us on Thursday.
Teach Better may have a K to 12 focus, but we have so much to learn from pre-K education as well as higher education providers, and that thread of engagement, from 3 years old to 23 years old, Ray, it just runs through. It's all about the relationships, and I guarantee that that's going to be an amazing kickoff with Jeff. I've come to know Jeff as an incredibly authentic individual, and I'm looking forward to you guys with your usual shenanigans, and your relationship together just really shines when you guys get together. It's an awesome way. I often find myself just laughing all the way to work as I listen to your podcast on Monday. It's amazing. You've got at least one number one fan, Ray.
I was going to say, I'm glad you're laughing. I'm usually rolling my eyes or shaking my head with Jeff Gargas on screen. So we'll see how it goes. We could take a little, we'll take a little poll on what we predict for Monday. Brad, as we kind of head into our Friday, I hope that everybody has a wonderful Friday ahead. Do you have any plans for the weekend after you have the best day ever at school later this afternoon?
Wow. I think there are a couple of Teach Better events and meetings coming up for me this weekend. I will be getting ready to take the audio from my Dennis Matthew chat and get that ready for the Good News, Brad News podcast. I have a number of school items to look after, but above all, I get to pick up my daughter on the way home from work from university today, and this is a weekend where she's at home, so we'll be celebrating with family and maybe movies and popcorn and just enjoying some time with the family this weekend. How about you? What's on the slate for the Hewarts there?
Well, earlier this week it was a National Popcorn Day, so it's fitting that you would do that with your family later today. So this weekend should be a quiet weekend. I actually have an evening dinner with my sister and brother-in-law. It's the last one. They're headed back to Scotland on Saturday morning, bright and early. So we will do one last family dinner tonight with hopefully an abundance of great food and adult beverages. Will be wonderful to spend time around a kitchen table. We have a theory in our family that everything good happens around a kitchen table. So
beautiful.
Excited to sit with everybody and celebrate, this last moment we all have together for hopefully, not too long, but a relatively long chunk of time that we'll be apart again. And then a quiet weekend. I have some things to catch up on. We have some big announcements coming for the Teach Better team that need a little bit of tweaking and final touches on them as they are released next week and the following week to our community. And then I am just hoping to relax some time with the puppies. So it'll be a full week, just like you just listed. It's a full week of, some relaxation, some family time, but also both of us seem to have a list of to-dos as well. So finding the balance of that weekend will be good.
Well, I really hope that joy and warmth and comfort are ubiquitous in your weekend, Ray. It sounds like you've had a fantastic weekend ahead. And we do wish everyone listening and watching, whether you're watching live or listening later, a wonderful weekend, and do take time to restore, and do take time to connect with the people, the things and the activities that bring you joy, and very much looking forward to another great week ahead with the team and with all of you in education, Ray. Thank you.
So fun. Brad, I always love our Fridays together. Thanks for coming live with me. We will see you all starting on Monday morning next week. And as a reminder, for those of you that maybe haven't caught the show on a consistent basis, we not only will be here every single day next week, but we have some big announcements coming from the team. So if you have not seen all the little things that are coming your way, I will promise you we have some big announcements coming in the Teach Better team related to the Teach Better conference, related to 12-Hour Live, and lots and lots and lots more. So if you have any questions to make sure that you don't miss any of those great opportunities, feel free to reach out. Brad, I hope you have a wonderful Friday, friend.
I hope you do. Let's make it the best ever, friend.
Best ever. Happy Friday. See you later.
See ya.